Brent, last year after you guys won an emotional game over Texas, I think you had a week off maybe, and then didn't perform as well in the back half of the season. How do you keep these guys focused on next after just an emotional victory on the road?
We obviously lost 2 back-to-back games, 1-score games where we couldn't get it down the last minute of the game. Turned the ball over 6 times in those 2 games. So, the first part of the season we took care of the ball, and those 2 games, that 2-game stretch, we didn't, and then we took care of the ball again and finished the season. I think that was 3 straight, wins. So you got to take care of the ball. You got to get your mind right in regards to the basics. The fundamentals. You can't ever lose your edge for that. And when you do, you get exposed, and that's what happened.
Brent, how has that win against Auburn, the way you did it, how much has it galvanized your program?
I think it can. Our guys already had, belief in themselves. They recognized what we fell short, against Tennessee, a really good Tennessee team, where we had our opportunity and didn't capitalize. You get punished when you get the ball in plus territory. You don't score against a good team and don't make them pay for it. It's hard to win. So I do believe that how it went was really according to script. We expected to win. We expected to be successful, but we knew there would be against some resistance, and it's a hard place to play. It's a team that if they're not turning the ball over, they're really they've got a really good team. And so that being said, we had some moments where we did things really well, and then we went through a period where they made a bunch of plays. I love the grit and the toughness that this team has shown through the first 5 games of the season, and that game had a little bit of everything. And so there's some moments where guys got exposed and humbled, and again the toughness to overcome. I think we got in our own way several times where we had really good positive plays, and good positive plays are not easy to come by, and so when they happen, you can't shoot yourself in the foot, and we did that with a handful. I think we had 8 penalties on offense, and I think 7 of 8 or all 8 were in plus territory, and a few of them were down there inside the 20 that we had to pull back out, and certainly we took a touchdown off the board, and that's a 4-point swing there. And it's a little, we're barely moving towards the line of scrimmage, and it barely is how you get punished. And fortunately, we overcame that. And by overcoming it, again, our guys went out and we stopped them, and we made some plays, and we converted 2-point conversions, and we kicked field goals, and we managed the time and the clock, and attacked protection and dropped in with good fundamentals and eyes, and then made a nice play, up the sideline to ultimately, to win. So I love the development of the team through, some adversity, and you can't waste your suffering. You can't waste it. And there's been some moments where we've been through some suffering, and again, we capitalized when we needed to, and that's through victory, and that's what it's all about.
Anything changed about the way you approach a bye week, either based on the circumstances of this year with injuries and other stuff like you've dealt with, or what you experienced last year coming off the bye week?
Yeah, again, last year off the bye week, we turned the ball over 2 back-to-back weeks 6 times. And one was a pick 6 in a game you lost by a score. On the 3rd play of the game, you throw a pick 6. It's hard to beat anybody. So you want to, you got to get some work in. You got to get better. You have to improve. You can't improve by doing walkthroughs for 3 or 4 days. And every team's different. And this is a team that probably a little bit less banging, but we were in full pads today, and did lots of good on good. And that's you want guys to, if you're going to get exposed, you want them to get exposed out here on the practice field, and just we worked a lot of situationals, and but tomorrow we won't be in full pads tomorrow. We weren't in full pads on Monday.
I remember you talking in fall camp about Eli Bowen, and nothing was too big for him. What's impressed you about him so far in the playing time he's got?
Yeah, it's just he's been sound. Young players, you want guys that when they get out there, they know what to do. and that's the responsibility of the player. The coach knows what he's good at, what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are. The player has to own the responsibility of knowing what to do and knowing adjustments and know how to communicate. And so far, that's a piece of it that he's been really sound on. He's super coachable. Again, he's very skilled. His fundamentals he's ahead of the curve that way. And he's a tough guy. He doesn't say a whole lot. You guys get to talk to him in a little bit. And so he's been the model of consistency, and he's always ready, So that when I say the moment doesn't seem too big, that's a big part of it too. He's ready. So he's earned, the opportunity to get, more playing time, and he's going to be a really good player.
Coach, this program's never had a true freshman quarterback start the Texas game. That's going to change with Mike Hawkins.
Right?
And I know we're a week and a half out from that game.
We don't think about that, That's interesting, though.
Yeah, certainly. But,
yeah.
I know we're a week and a half out from that game.
Mm-hmm.
But what are your overarching thoughts on where he's at, the work he's already put in to get ready to make history in that sense?
Yeah, again, and you didn't ask me what we would tell him. It would be just like going on the road as the first time a true freshman quarterback did whatever, going on the road and getting the win as a true freshman, and it'll be the same thing. He's got to not try to win the game in the first drive of the game and play within the system, take care of the football. You do that, and you got good special teams, you got a good defense, and you can make some plays, with the guys around you. You have a chance to win each and every week, and so you don't want the moments, the emotions of what that game means to everybody, the emotions that'll be in the stadium, the intensity to hijack the focus that it takes to have the details so we can execute at a really high level. Execution wins, not emotion, and not all the fans and everything else that's going to be going. So, between now and then, we've as a staff kind of just laid out there what he can expect, and again, every week, it's about us, and so that'll be fun for Mike. I know it'll be a big moment for him, his family being from Dallas. And but at the end of the day, we're gonna face a really good Texas team that's really balanced in all three phases. I don't know if they're one or two in the country. I haven't seen a poll, but they're up there, and they're playing really good. And so just execute the plan. Will be the game plan for him. And like I said, he's got to be somebody that's not too high, not too low, things of that nature.
In terms of development, how important is the 2 weeks for Mike?
Yeah, it's all good. Many reps as you can get with the group of guys around you. It's going to be really critical. Getting more and more comfortable.
Brent, when you look at the guys that stepped up and made plays, whether it's Hester, Brennan early and Bauer, where this offense was to what you've seen coming out of a tough game at Auburn, do you feel like you're seeing steps with the offense just overall?
Yeah, again, we've got to be able to get into a rhythm. And so part of that is getting out of your own way. Oklahoma can't beat Oklahoma. And so there's the penalty thing. And that's really what kept us from getting into a great rhythm. We knew that Auburn's going to be a good, tough defense, and they're going to play well at home. But when the plays are there, we got to make them. We certainly showed signs of that, and we got to build on that. But you get into a rhythm of the season. And I think our guys, when they went back and they were able to look back at, some of the missed opportunities and where, we had a big part in not executing. I think that's a positive thing through winning, and I think that you actually gained confidence from that, as well, even though it was too many missed opportunities.
You feel like the offensive line is kind of starting to gain a little bit too?
Yeah, they were much more consistent. Our communication was cleaner. Everything, was cleaner from how we're targeting, and our protection was really pretty good. And we saw zero. We saw, 5 and 6 man pressures, and they're flat-footed at about 7 yards. A good part of the game too. And we got to make people. You can't let people crowd the line of scrimmage like that. You got to make them pay.
How much did it help getting Jake Taylor back on that offensive line?
No, it's good. And again, obviously there's some rust for him, the endurance piece, and some of the limitations that you have when you're out. so the things that you can't do, maybe it's weight room and some of your lower body strength and stuff like that, when you're out several weeks, that adds up quick. And you can lose physically, you can lose a lot quick. So, but he's worked hard to get himself back where he needs to be, and it was good to get him back. He's a long, athletic guy that has been in the system for a while, and so if he does make a mistake, he quickly understands that it's not real complicated for him.
Brent, you talked before the season about how much there needed to be improvement in special teams. Through the first 5 games this year, are you kind of seeing that improvement just with the way Luke's punting, with field goal kicking? Are you seeing that improvement you've been looking for?
Well, again, we said we'd make our kicks. With the last couple of years, didn't make our kicks, and then we had 4 fumbles on returns a year ago, and things of that nature. I think we're over 100th in the country in efficiency, and I think we're number 1 in the SEC in efficiency, special teams, and number 1 in the country. And field position, hidden yardage piece is a real thing. Teams that win a lot of games, it's a really undervalued stat from a field position standpoint. Luke's been fantastic, and the kickers have been really pretty dang good. Zach really stepped up. Been great with our coverage units. We had one last week where Zach had to make the play and he got a face mask rather. But overall, our coverage units have been really good. Peyton's done a nice job. Certainly we had the theatrics of the one game where Peyton got hurt. And but other than that, we've been pretty solid, and we've made improvement. And that's the challenge to these guys. They know what we've put on tape. There's an opportunity for more improvement, and so just close to halfway through, that's better, and I think that's what's given us a chance to win, all 5 weeks, is really playing exceptionally well and winning the battle on special teams every week through 5 weeks.
I know we've talked about Sammy Omosigho a lot, but how have you seen him kind of grasp this opportunity with the unfortunate?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Sammy's got a great spirit to him. You all have had an opportunity to speak to Sammy, and I think he's TikTok famous for any of you TikTokers out there. Why are the ladies laughing first? And Eddie, right? Ladies and Eddie. No, it's cool to see the focus and the maturity piece. This is, going into his second year, and really proud of his maturity, taking this opportunity really serious and deciding I want to be great. And so with that comes the detail, the intensity, the focus all the time. And can't just be a good guy and everybody likes Sammy. You got to lock in and focus on what you want most. This is a very small window, and he's got to go get it. We're counting on him not to allow the performance piece to drop. And so there's an initial transition to that, what that's going to look like. And but we've got to get to where we were, with Kendall and Woody. He was a little bit banged up in the last couple of weeks, and we're getting Deshaun back, and so we'll have a nice collection of guys, and Reggie Powers also plays there as well. So, but Sammy's done nice, and he's big, he's long, he's super athletic, he's got great top end speed, he's physical. He made one of the biggest plays in the game on 2nd and short. Again, they got into a decent rhythm way too often, and that was as big a play that nobody's talking about as any in that game, because now that forced a 3rd and medium where they felt like, hey, we need to probably throw it here, and then the interception happens. And so he does a nice job. He's unblocked. He should do that. But he got him down immediately. We didn't get drug and all that kind of stuff. So excited about his growth potential and where the direction he's going.
Brent, I don't know, as a head coach, if you try and go out of your way to spend time getting to know your quarterbacks, or if you're just hey, let's say offense is sacred territory, but have you spent time doing that with your quarterbacks?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of, how would you explain the overall demeanor of like Michael Hawkins?
Again, he's super consistent. He's calm, really cerebral. He's super coachable. I try to give a defensive perspective as much as I can, whether that's in Skelly, that's in team. I stand back there with those guys. If they're not in, if the other quarterback's in, I'm telling them what's getting ready, the coverage, the blitz, where the holes are. maybe we're talking about the last series. I'm certainly not trying to. I've got a good grasp of what we're asking them to do, so I don't think we're on different planets. But I'm like, man, the hole's here. He's on top of the route. You want to drop it, on the back shoulder, and things of that nature. Or talking about things that the defense is showing you pre-snap before the ball's ever snapped. What's false and what's real, and maybe what we're doing formationally that has to show a tilt, give something away. And so we actually have football school several days during the week, and my tilt is my purpose for doing that football school meeting several times a week, and we show ourselves, we show several opponents, we show the NFL, and try to teach everybody football and really understand the other side. I think that's probably more important than anything, not just your side of the ball, but the other side of the ball, what they're thinking, what the weakness is, whether it's a field zone or it's a down and distance, a 2-minute, 4-minute, we look at all of it before the half, into the game, and I try to put a lot of my focus on, the offensive side. I meet with the defense a lot. During the meetings, I try to jump around to all the different meeting rooms during the course of the week or during the course of a day, but I spend a good amount of time with, the defensive guys. But I love that piece. I never want to, quote unquote, overstep my bounds and say something that's not in alignment with what the offensive staff is, but that's usually not an issue.
How's Jackson?
We got players available.
How's Jackson doing?
Question.
Great. I mean, that's my perspective, but we worked hard to make sure he's got the right mindset, and everybody's got to roll. He's got to stay ready. He's got to stay ready, and so he's handled things great, really, really good in every way. Now, more so than you'd probably think as a just a second-year player, and incredibly probably disappointed. Would be naive if we didn't think that's not a piece of what he's going through, but I think he's got the maturity too. Like, I'm going to be better from this. And we've tried to put lots of different examples, from lots of different people, testimonials, and we do that nonstop for all of our guys. That's this game, that's life, and help guys manage, these moments, where you're going through a challenging time, some choppy waters.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Brent.